They're racing immediately. But a champion becomes a legend. Maccabi Diva wins it again.
Yes, yes, yes. Wins the Everest. Glen Boss wins another big one.
Here we go, season 5 of Who's the Boss? Adam Peacock alongside the great Glen Boss. Bossy, it is the best time of year, and it's so good. We've decided to hop out of the studio, come out to the Inglis complex, southwest Sydney, to start things off this season.
I really enjoyed doing this remotely, actually. We should do a lot more of this this season. So actually we will be doing this bit more of this. But no, spring's in the air, the sun's out, the good horses are back. Can't wait for the spring.
It is the best time of year, and we've got great racing each and every weekend. Even midweekers are throwing up things that we might have a look at later in spring. But season 5, where are we headed? So is that a secret that you're letting me know about? Potentially tell me more about where we're headed, or you just want to keep it under wraps?
I'll keep this one under wraps for a little while, but I have got a very, very, very special project for us.
Okay, excellent. So we're going to start things, though, with a very special guest, and it's someone that you like and relate to so well, and she actually just trains over the back there here at Warwick Farm, so it was easy to get her here. Yeah,
I've admired this young horsewoman for a long time. We worked closely together. We pulled off a few good ones in Group 1s, and now she's out on her own, and she is absolutely flying.
So here we go. Annabel Neasham is the name of the guest, and here she is with a chat about her backstory, her life story, what's ahead this spring, and of course later on we'll have some tips for the weekend. So here we go, season 5, Who's the Boss?
Enjoy.
Annabel, great to see you. How are you?
I'm great. It's good to come down the road, not have to travel too far for this, but yeah, very glad to be on.
That's when you know how important you are, when we come to you.
Yeah, it's fair.
My favourite, Annabel. Thanks for coming on too.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, we are recording this at 2:30 in the afternoon, so it means you've been up for 12 hours, so it's only fair that we come to you, Annabel. Or do you get the nap in the middle of the day?
No, I wish I did. If I had a nap, I don't wake up, so I don't have those. I've just been to Canterbury. I've got one running in about 30 seconds, so I'll probably be trying not to look at my phone while I'm talking to you.
We can stop.
No, we can keep filming. I want to see a trainer react to a run.
That's right.
While the race is on.
I don't want to bag if it's a bad ride. I can't really bag the ride when I've got a jockey sitting next to me.
We're going to watch this live. This is going to be good.
I've got my phone in front of me, actually. I'll keep you updated how you're going. But fascinating time. This time of year, always in racing, and this is our first ep for the season. So we'll rip into, first of all, before getting into your fascinating story about what we're seeing in racing right now. I mean, what's caught your eye in the early stages of spring, Annabel?
For me, probably Autumn Glow. I think Chris Waller's got an unbelievable hand of horses at the moment, but she just looks completely bulletproof. So, I thought she looked terrific. Obviously Tempted was very, very good. She looks like she could beat the boys if she's going that way. Don't know who else who have you liked, Bossy?
Matt Laurie, I thought, that filly coming back.
Treasure of the moment.
I know she had a little bit of a setback, but it could be the next big one. It's, just to see her. She hasn't developed a lot, but she's just got probably more athletic. And her turn of speed when she won first up, that's reserved for some really few special horses. And obviously the form's been franked, Mr. Brightside coming out and winning. She could be anything.
What do you think of that race, where the ambulance nearly went past the field?
Yeah,
at one stage?
it was such a bad watch. I was actually down there for Maccabi Stakes Day. I went and seen my mum.
Yes.
She come out. She's 27.
She
God, she looks good, Annabel. When they get old, sometimes they get a bit glazy. She's got that really clear eye, and her feet are pure. Like, her feet are really good. So it's great to see her.
She remembers you.
They have you have a moment with them, but she walks out there and she goes, "Holy shit, are we doing this now? Am I racing?" She grew her hand and she toes you around, but it's so good to see her healthy. But getting back to that race, I was talking to Blake before it, and I was saying, what are you thinking? And he said, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, it's very obvious. He's just going to lead, and he's probably going to stack them up."
Mr. Brightside
Mr.
going to lead, and Blake Shin was
we'll all
on
stand alone. I
Antino.
said,
Yep.
Willow's going to do this. I think it's very obvious what's going to happen. So it's what you're going to do. He said, "Oh, I don't really want to do what I did at Caulfield because it was." I said, "Yeah, well, it's not Caulfield, is it?" But the way the race worked out, he should have done something. I thought Tom Kitten jumped that well. He could have been outside the leader. He snagged it back, and then it got over racing, and it ended up being a bit of a shit race. And how can you beat Mr. Brightside? Like a proper horse, 10-time Group 1 winner. How do you think you can give him start when coming off the back of those sectionals and think, it's like watching Zaaki. He was a different horse, but You can't give those great horses ridiculous starts like barrier trials and just think you're going to move up to them and pass them. It's not going to happen.
Mathematically, you weren't going to beat him, were you?
No. Well, he 33.
Yeah.
How you can't run 32.7
No.
because you've got to make up the ground to get to them, and then you've got to pass them, which is hard to do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'd probably all ride a bit differently if they had the time.
Well,
again.
I think they probably all went back in the room and looked at each other and just went,
Oops.
"Oops." You know, one of those Pride of Jenny moments. You know, like, "Oops." Oh, we got.
Do they all start yelling at each other in that instance?
I think they
And
start
they're trying
blaming,
to-
maybe
trying to
start
deflect?
blaming each other and deflecting. But anyway, well done to Craig Williams. He went out there and rode the horse perfectly. And Mr. Brightside, what about
He's
him?
a beauty, isn't he?
Isn't he an absolute warrior?
They've done an amazing job to keep him
Yep.
racing at that level for that long.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he's the gift that keeps giving anyway.
Yeah, he's a great horse.
So we've got a fair bit of racing chat a bit later on. We've got a great weekend ahead, and we'll get Bossy's best, and you may as well throw in a few for us as well, if you could, to help us
I'll
out on the
try.
week.
Are we up to? Is that horse about to race or not? We've had a look.
We'll get to it in a sec.
Oh, here it is.
Here.
Here
No,
we go.
We'll watch it live.
Where is it?
We won't
Where
want to
is it?
show it live,
Where are you?
but this is what a trainer, all
Sitting
these early
fourth,
mornings.
wanted to be
Fourth
outside
in the-
lead,
in the
but that's
brown and yellow?
okay.
How's the ride,
Black and
Bossy?
yellow,
Are you
yeah.
happy with the position it's in?
Yeah, it's in a great spot,
Yeah?
but it's kind of. It's gonna. It's
Are you a
not-
nervous watcher, Annabel?
It's coming. Oh, it's
A
under-
midweek
You're
at
ahead of
Canterbury is a
me.
bit different to a Group 1 at Randwick, I know, but
It's going to keep coming. But I think it's under pressure now. Annabelle. It's going to keep
So, yes,
coming.
she
No,
is
it's
in.
going to keep coming. Here it comes.
what price are we, Annabel?
Here it comes.
Go on,
Here
get
it goes.
I don't know if it's going to
Oh,
quite
come
go
on.
there.
No, it's just
This
not
thing
going
on the outside.
Yeah, it's just not going to get there, but it surged. It's still coming. Come on.
No way. No way.
It ran so good.
Oh, you got tapped out.
It's
Needs
not.
to be further.
I think
It's not a Canterbury
it
horse.
wobbled around the corner there,
Yeah.
and it took 100 metres to get balanced.
She can back up next Wednesday here
Yeah.
for the listeners.
You've already
No.
made you haven't even talked to the jockey. Jockey's still going on it, and you've already made the decision on its immediate future.
It's not a Canterbury
Yeah.
horse. It
Nah,
took a long
can
time
go
to
a
wind
mile
up.
here
Yeah,
next
perfect.
week. Fillies and mares.
What was the name?
Exclusive Artist.
You heard it here first.
So you're watching that race, and you were just watching it intently. Is there nerves when you're watching one of yours go around, or
Often
nothing you can do about
depends.
it?
I've got the owner ringing me already. Often depends on the race, the horse, the expectations you've given.
Do you want me to answer that? Who is it?
That's all right.
I want to say, listen. I said, ran well. Bossy
can.
said,
Bossy's here. Bossy said ran well.
ran well.
Jock could have done this.
Nah.
No, I gave it a good steer, Zach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the expectation I probably have put on myself and the owners. You lose a lot more races than you win, but it's fun watching them anyway.
First time for everything here on Who's the Boss. First episode of season 5, and we've had our first live stream. So I'm
Yeah.
proud of that, and hopefully
Yeah.
we'll do it again one day.
Let's go back a little way, Annabelle. Like, back to the start. Like, you're obviously involved with horses at a very young age, pony clubs, and one thing I was hunting. I've never hunted in my life. What? Tell us about hunting, because it's big over in the UK.
Yeah, well, it's probably not as big as it was now. So fox hunting, and yeah, you used to go out on horseback, and the hounds would be hunting the foxes, which were hunted on farmers' lands. Obviously, the foxes do a little bit of damage to a lot of, I suppose, mainly sheep over there, chickens, sheep. So more just keeping the numbers down, and yeah, it was done. It's just an old tradition, I suppose, in England and Ireland and America. I think they have it, and there is a bit of hunting here. But I just grew up with it. You know, a young kid, you're out all day, just galloping across countryside, jumping whatever's in front of you. Yeah, with all your mates, just good fun. You learn a bit of horse skill as well, because you're not going across manicured paddocks. You've often got to find your way around, go different ways, and yeah, it's just what I grew up doing and just absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
You get a bit of an adrenaline rush as well when the hounds are screaming and you're trying to catch up with them and keep up with them. But yeah, it was a good way to, I suppose, start riding.
I'd love to do that one day. Yeah, be awesome.
You jump hedges.
Yeah, I'd do
Gates,
anything.
yeah.
Yeah, anything.
I'll take you one day.
I'd love to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When did horse racing come into your life?
Later on, actually. I did a lot of show jumping and eventing. I was pretty serious about eventing, but I realised I wasn't going to be good enough to make a career out of it. And I admire those people that do, because it's hard. There's no prize money in it. It's very hard to make a living out of it. But it was my passion. I loved it. But also enjoyed watching all the jumps racing, which was big over there, or is big over there. And I quite fancied the idea of becoming a jumps trainer. Had no idea how to get to that point. But everybody kept putting me off, saying, "Oh, being a trainer's too hard." So unless you've got the right facilities, and I had no idea how even to get into it. Anyway, I went off to university and ended up living with a guy called Tom Ward, who was really keen on his racing, and he actually came out here and was assistant to John O'Shea. He's now training in his own right, but he sort of put me on the bloodstock path. He gave me a few contacts and ended up working on a stud farm at the Royal Studs that the Queen owned. Did a foaling season there and then a breaking in season.
Queen ever come out to check things out?
She did, yeah.
Met her?
Yeah, yep. Which was pretty amazing.
Newer stuff as well.
And I actually have a horse, Naval College, that she bred. And
Wow.
the mare I foaled, I was there when the older brother got foaled, which was, pretty cool. And I did a few yearling preparations and sales, and I loved it, but there was no adrenaline attached to it.
Yeah.
Whereas I suppose coming into the racing side, even though I'm not riding these horses, there's still an adrenaline kick.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just a bit more of an active role in the industry, getting up early, watching horses, riding horses. So, that's how I sort of ended up falling into more of the training side. But didn't even know I wanted to be a trainer. I just knew I wanted to work in the industry initially. And then, couldn't get a job. Tried to get a job as an assistant trainer or a pupil assistant they have over there, which is the job underneath an assistant trainer. It was just hard to get any sort of inroads. So I thought I'd try and get my CV looking better. I'll do a year in Australia, do a year in America, get a bit of experience, see how the rest of the world do things, and then I'll try and settle into a job back in England. And I only got as far as here.
You never got to America, so
no,
fair enough.
Still never been.
Which brings us into our sponsor, because you coming to Australia meant living in a different environment. And I've just got to mention the guys from Airtouch.
Yes.
I'm trying to find a segue here, and I think someone's coming
beautiful.
from Australia to find an air conditioning, someone to sort out your air conditioning needs, which is what Airtouch does, Bossy. Got to give them, because they're great supporters, and they're back again.
Didn't need
for
that when you
season
lived
5.
in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you do. The heater
because the heating
does the both.
It goes
So
the
if
other
you
way.
ever need it, Annabel, I can get you in touch with the right people. This stuff is amazing. So it's all on your phone. Like, you can be driving down for the races and it's 40 degrees outside. You go, geez, I need to cool the house
Drop it
down.
down to 15.
You drop down to 15, you walk in the house and it's brilliant.
It's an icebox. Vice versa.
And vice versa.
In Melbourne in July, and it's
Well, maybe Melbourne you do need it more than anywhere else. Gold Coast, where you are now, you
Yeah,
just have
well-
it on cold all the time.
4 seasons in Melbourne, so,
No, he was whinging last series about it being 24 in Gold Coast and then needing to wear a jumper. So
Yeah, true.
No, but
Got soft.
Airtouch, .net.au, they're supporting us again, Airtouch. So thank you
Yeah,
to the guys
how
at
good.
Airtouch for keeping on helping us out. So you come to Australia and you get training, and away you go. But working with Gay first of all, and then Kieran Ma. What were those experience, teachings, learnings like for you?
Yeah, well, fantastic. I mean, I was eyes on stalks when I first got here. I knew nothing really about Australian racing other than I'd heard of the Melbourne Cup and I'd heard of the Golden Slipper, and that was the extent of my racing knowledge. So I had a lot to learn, but fast-paced stable at Gay's. Learned a lot from her on all different facets. She used to tell me to dress better and brush my hair better, and you learn about day-to-day life lessons as well as horse lessons.
That's why everyone calls her mum.
Yeah, she was brilliant. So I had a great grounding there, and then I actually met Kieran when I was down in Melbourne. I did half my time at Gay's in Sydney, and then when the carnival came, I went down for the Melbourne Carnival to her Melbourne Flemington stables, and I was quite good friends with David Eustace, and then met Kieran through him, and he offered me a job. I said, "What doing?" He said, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to do the sales, I want to ride track work, I want to do a bit of communication, everything." And he said, "Okay." And at the time, I think he only had 80 in work. He was a lot smaller than he is now.
Yeah.
So he said, "Okay, when can you start?" So that was that. And I did
Write
do
your
that.
own job description.
Yeah, I did. Basically said, write your own job description. And luckily, he didn't have anyone doing those whatever roles it was that I wanted to do. So it worked out well. And I was there for probably four and a half years.
Yep.
Doing a variety of roles, and eventually ended up opening up his Sydney stable up here. And then, from there, went out on my own.
Yeah, it was great grounding because when you were running Sydney, you actually were running it basically on your own. You know, it was a full-time job for you. So, what a great grounding having Gay in your corner, then Kieran, like and watching him grow. Like in that 4-year time that you were with him, he would just went through the stratosphere, didn't he?
Oh, just amazing. Just
some of the great horses coming
property,
through there.
more horses, and you know, he's got an array. He's not pigeonholed. A lot of trainers are probably specialists with sprinters or 2-year-olds or whatever, but he's just got an array of everything from 2-year-olds up to Melbourne Cup horses. So, you've got a good exposure to a lot of different types of training, and he's got different. He's got Fingal down. I'd never worked at Fingal, but you just get exposed to his ideas of where horses should be that best suits them. And although I was only running one of those stables, you're I suppose getting exposed to the whole operation, and definitely a lot of what I do now would be based on what I learned when I was working for him.
Did you find Australia really welcoming in that sense? Because Australian racing has this reputation of you can be a taxi driver and own the winner of an Everest or a Melbourne Cup, or you can be literally ruler of the Commonwealth and have a horse in the same race that is going nose to nose with that other horse. So everyone's involved, and in your case, there was no preconceptions from the people you started working with. It's like, oh, well, Annabel used to jump hedges hunting foxes. She doesn't really have the grounding in horse racing.
She sounds awful.
No, she is welcome with open arms because she's got this capacity to learn, and we can see talent there. Did you find that was an easier way into the industry here in Australia because of that?
Yeah, definitely. And I've sort of naturally always just enjoyed working. And as a kid, I'd go and ride. You know, my parents are fantastic and very supportive, but it was very much if you're wanting to do horses, you're doing them, that we're not doing them for you. And, you know, before school I'd be riding, after school I'd be riding, I'd be mucking out the paddocks. You know, nothing was sort of handed to me. I had to work for it, and had to, you know, once I was a teenager I had to fund it myself, buy and sell horses, and you just learn to work hard. And even when I worked at the Royal Studs doing the foaling season, I had a couple of event horses at the same time, and I'd go and do them before, and then in my lunch break I'd go and ride, then I'd come back in the evening I'd go and ride them. So it was all day working. So, you know, when you get to Australia and that's just instilled into you is to work hard, that gives you inroads. And I've had plenty of staff already, you know, they come through and we have a great team, but you'll get a lot of people come through and they say they want to end up being a trainer, and, you know, straight away they want to be handed a certain role on a plate. But my advice to them always is get stuck in work. You're never too senior to muck out a box. You've got to be able to turn your hand to anything. And if I see a staff member that works their guts out and they're really, really hard working, they get given the opportunity before anyone else, because it's all about working hard. And definitely in this country, if you work hard, you know, they always say the harder you work, the luckier you get, and there's no doubt that's true.
Well, you have more skin in the game, don't you?
Yeah.
When you're in amongst it, when you've been at the coalfire every day, and you got your troops around you, it's like you got so much skin in the game, and it's more important to you, so you want to succeed.
Yeah. And actually, when I went out training on my own, people said, "Oh, is it very different now? Not, you know, you're doing it for yourself, not for Kieran." And I said, "Well, actually, no different. I worked as hard for Kieran when I ran his stable here. I cared as much and worked as hard as I do now. I'm doing it myself. It sort of was actually no different, really." And that's just the key is trying to find young people now that really want to work hard, and it's a lifestyle. This, you know, what I'm doing now is a lifestyle. It's not really a job necessarily, but it's, you know, it is long hours, and we're always trying to create a better working environment for our staff. But at the end of the day, we are working with horses. It's early mornings and it's hard work, and I just think hard work takes anyone a long way.
There's a good story that you both crossed over with the 2020 Sydney Cup. So we're all sitting at home locked away, but you guys in the racing industry could still get out there and get to the races, thankfully, because it gave me something to watch for a couple of months there. But Etar James in a Sydney Cup at 30 to 1. And you reckon that 30s should have been maybe 3s. Oh, maybe not 3s, but...
Well,
you know.
I was doing a lot of work for Kieran up here in Sydney at the time, and obviously, so Annabel and I were working very closely, and we had a lot of horses, Sir Dragonet, and a lot of horses that we were working on.
Away game.
Oh, God, she won a Magic Millions, and she ran second in a slipper. I tipped her in the slipper, and she just far unbeat her, but God, she was a little warrior, little tiny thing. But we were working closely together, and I worked this mare that was getting ready for the Sydney Cup. She had 51 kilos. She worked you on a Tuesday. I said, Annabel, and she said it before I said it, that how good did that work? I said, this will nearly win the Sydney Cup. So we went there.
Did we put blinkers on her, I think?
We put blinkers on it.
Yeah.
We put blinkers on it. And it just brought that little bit of into it. She had some okay form over in New Zealand, over 2 miles. And we just put the blinkers on her, and she worked unbelievably on the course proper. And I said, this will win the Sydney Cup. Yeah. And we both agreed and went to the race. We were so confident.
Poor Kieran hadn't even seen her because he was stuck with the border.
Yeah.
We sent this horse.
Yeah.
And I said, I think we're going to win the Sydney Cup. And he's like, oh, really? Like, okay.
Yeah.
And I remember my phone just going bananas with him ringing me after you'd crossed the line
Yeah.
on her. It was just like a surreal moment. I was like, how did we pull that off?
Yeah, but we did that a few times, didn't we? Like,
Yeah.
Annabel has an amazing ability to, when I was riding work and I'd feel something, on a horse, she'd see it, which there's not many people that have that ability.
In what way? And
like,
how?
Annabel would say something to me, it did that at the 600 or it did at the 200 there, it did this. And I'd go, well, that's what I felt. How'd you see that? And not many people have that ability. But Annabel has that ability to see it, and she's a very good horseman. I think that's where it goes back to. Intuitively being a very good horsewoman, you see things which people are feeling, which is really.
'Cause you grew up with it. You grew up with horses. So.
And I'm definitely not a frustrated jockey, but I think in my mind, like if I could be riding them as well, I'd love to, but I'm not. A, I'm far too heavy, and and B, I'm not good enough. And that's not the path I went down. But I think I'm sure it helps as a trainer when you've ridden track work and
100%.
ridden a bit. You've just grown up on the back of a horse. You sort of half, maybe you've
Well, it's
got that
instinct. It's more
slight
instinct.
Yeah,
It is 100%.
What was your first appreciation of Glen when you got to the country? I don't know, when you first crossed paths?
I
Or
think it might have been Gay, wasn't
I
it?
do remember you actually getting really annoyed at riding one at Hawkesbury for us.
Oh, that was a bad moment for me.
And it didn't run well, and he threw the colours at me and said something.
No.
And I was like, oh God, he's a
Handled them
shitty,
briskly.
moody man.
No, that
Maybe.
was at a time when I was going through that really bad patch when I was supposed to be going to Melbourne. And I got, it was a bad story, and I wasn't in a very good place.
He did apologise though.
I wasn't in a very good place, and what happened, I galloped this horse here.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, as a young horse, and I said, don't put blinkers on him because he's going to go overdo it too much because I think he can win.
God,
It was a 1,000-metre race at Hawkesbury, and he goes around the closure and he's got the blinkers on. I went, oh no, what am I going to do here? He come out and went, wow, like that, and stopped. And I went, I got the shits. But I was already in a shit place at the time. And I do apologise. I felt bad. I felt bad about that.
But the good thing about Bossy, I found, is that if he's thinking something, he'll say it.
Yeah, right. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Yeah, and
isn't
I'm a
it,
bit
as a
like that as
trainer?
well.
Yeah. I'd get off and say, this will win.
Yeah.
Like, Annabel, this will win, and we both agree. Or I'd say, oh, no, I don't think it's ready, So you got to be.
Well, I didn't agree with. Must have not agreed with the blinker comment, or maybe I forgot to take them off.
Maybe you did.
I think I forgot to take them off.
What about the time when you've decided, right, I want my name in the race book next to these horses instead of working for someone? It's, you're doing so much, and you could get comfortable and say, you know what, I'll work with Kieran for a very long time because he's going to be very successful. But then it's like, no, I want to do this myself. What was the tipping point?
I think eventually I knew I'd want to do something, for myself, work for myself, I should say. And I think actually having that period of time during COVID where I was sort of stuck up here a bit on my own, I suppose I started to maybe get a bit of confidence in myself that maybe I could do it. And actually it was probably the best grounding for it because you're running a reasonable sized satellite stable, and I was involved with the staff. I was race planning, acceptances, talking to owners, sort of almost doing it all, but obviously Kieran overseeing it, and particularly when the good horses are in, he'd start coming in. But I was learning off him when he was coming up, but then when he couldn't get up here, which was good. I can't remember how long it was. It was months.
Yeah.
It was a whole carnival, really.
Yeah, we had to do
a
a
couple
I think we
of
had
plan.
5 in the Golden Slipper, and we had a great bunch of horses. And I suppose you just get a little bit of confidence.
Because sometimes the
and-
horse will come out and it's got its worksheet, but Annabel will trot the horse up and you'll look at it and go, oh, maybe we'll back off this morning. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
instinctively, or maybe it needs a bit more. What do you think? Those are the things that Kieran would do on the fly, but now you had to do those things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you are pivoting and adjusting all the time on how that horse do that night. Did it eat up? It's not just this.
Not out of a
Structure.
touch.
Left feed, go one lap, not 2.
Yeah, that's right.
it
So
was-
you were doing that all of a sudden on your own.
you're sort of learning on the job. So yeah, I think that's, I mean, ultimately, and actually, you know, everyone, I think at the time, thought I was mad going out on my own trying to start a business in the middle of COVID. It was the best time to do it because everyone was sitting at home with no money to spend on holidays or cars. So I could buy a horse and sell it the next day because people are just bored, probably scrolling the internet. Racing is still going on.
Not paying tax.
Yeah, so it was it
for a while
was
for
actually a really
businesses.
good time, I think, to go out on my own.
All eyes were on racing. There was only two things. Well, football and racing were the only two things really going as far as sport. So
And then Zaaki dropped in out of the sky. I mean, how did that come about? Because he was a brilliant racehorse. I remember the one. There was a couple up in Brisbane, early doors, that he won by about 18 lengths or something like that.
Yeah, well, he's still been my best horse to date. I mean, hopefully we'll end up with a few more of him. We've only been training 4 years, I think, but he's just amazing. I had a great group of guys that came and said they wanted to buy a horse for me at the Tattersalls Horses and Training Sale over in Newmarket, and the budget, from memory, was £150,000. Which isn't a whole lot for a tried horse, but
300 grand at the moment. Yep.
And we went through the catalogue. Stuart Bowman, who's our bloodstock agent, went through the catalogue, and he said, "There's this horse. He's a bit old. He's 5-year-old. Has got good form. It's patchy. He's a bit out of form, but he was Group 3 winner. Maybe might have even been a Group 2 winner there. He held the track record at Epsom, so he obviously had talent." But he was a bit older. Certainly now people are buying them 5-year-olds without blinking. But at the time, I remember Will Bourne from Kieran said, "Does that horse need a walking stick to go with it?" when I bought it, and I remind him of that all the time.
Yeah, good.
But there was actually no one on him in the ring. I was on the phone to Stuart, obviously in the middle of the night, and he said, "This horse is going to pass in." He said it was making like 280, 300, passed in. So it'd gone past us. He said, "I don't think there's anyone on this." Passed in. And he went up and he offered half the reserve. We offered them 150 and they took it.
Wow, what a story.
Yeah. So
put him on a boat. Or
never
plane.
thought he would end up the horse he ended up. We just thought he'd be a really good, honest Saturday horse. I just wanted to straight away have those horses that could get us into those group races. And he came out, he was really hairy. Wasn't much to look at, and then after his first trial, he just started to like really come into his own and started to puff his chest out, and second trial was really good, and then I ran him first up in the Doncaster.
Did you see
he was
his
100 to 1.
Did you see his run in the Donny? Jay Bayless rode it, I think.
Yeah, he did, and I remember saying to Lizzie Jelfs, I said, "I know this sounds mad, but I said this horse can win." It was 100 to 1, and then Regan Bayless rode him. He drew 19, went back, and he just weaved the pack. If he'd drawn a gate, he wins.
Oh, mate, he was unbelievable.
And Regan Bayless was so funny. He got off and he said, "Do you want the good news or the bad news?" I said, "We'll go with the good news first." He said, "Good news is you got yourself a weight for age group 1 horse. Bad news is J-Mac will be on it next start."
Yeah.
And was he right?
Yeah, he was right.
I know about the Group 1 thing, but J-Mac as well.
He was
and
right.
like all good English tourists, adjusts well with the Airtouch and gets up to the Queensland sun and just loves life.
Hollindale Stakes up there. And
Holland-Early won 3 times. 3 times. Won the Doomben Cup by 10 lengths or something. He was just amazing. I still get a bit of heartbreak when I think of the Cox Plate. He was favourite for the Cox Plate and got a temperature on the morning of.
So run us through that process, and it's a famous process of it, but you wake up, you've done all the prep. You know, you've been to the Valley the week before, you've run him, he's had all these lead-up runs, he's ready, he's primed, you've got him A1 position, and then you open the barn door that morning. Run us through that.
Well, I got there. Todd was there before me, and I said, "Everything good?" Todd Pollard, yep. And he said, "Yeah," and he seemed a bit quiet. I said, "Everything's fine?" He said, "Yep." And he said, "Come here," so no one could hear. He said, "His temperature's 38.4, which is high-end normal." And I was like, okay. So it's not a temp yet, but we're getting that way. But it's not a temp yet. So we went out for a trot, seemed bright and well and happy. And then took his temp afterwards. It was 38.6. And I was thinking, this isn't great. grabbed about 10 different thermometers that I could find and start putting every different thermometer in.
Yeah.
Obviously, you put the thermometer up their backside to take the temperature. And they have guards on the door. They have security guards, mainly probably to check we're not doing anything untoward, and partly to make sure no one from outside in comes and does anything to the horses. But I kept saying, sorry, I'm just taking his temperature again. And he's writing down, they write down everything you do when you go in the box. And yeah, it ended up at about 39.
Cool.
Couldn't give him Nurofen?
Not race day.
Not race day.
No.
Is
but
there horse
can you
Nurofen?
believe? Yeah, or you can give them Bute. But unbelievably, we take a pre-race blood off a horse on a Thursday just to check their general health and to check they're not crook, because they can't tell you they're crook. A lot of the time you can tell, but sometimes you can't. And his blood was perfect. Once we'd scratched him from Saturday, we took a blood, and his blood was a bit off. And then by Monday, doing the re-blood, totally back to normal.
Wow. Wow.
So, I mean, he won
and then
the
he won on the
2
Champion
weeks later.
Stakes. Yeah, he just bolted in, didn't he?
But it was just devastating.
And does he win that Cox Plate?
I think
Yeah, he was in the form to win. Yeah, he was a horse to beat.
Which one was it?
State of Rest.
State of Rest, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He would have won.
He would have beat them horses, for sure.
Yeah.
Animo
He
ran
was $2.
second.
He'd been favourite since he won the Doomben Cup. He'd been favourite for the whole
Yeah.
6 months leading in.
Yeah.
And that one damn morning.
He got beaten at Caulfield. He hated Caulfield. He was one of those horses
Yeah,
that
he-
just hated Caulfield.
Yeah, running downhill.
Yeah.
Turning. No good for him.
Didn't like it. But, I really feel like that was the one that got away.
Well, I mean, you've had those as well in your career,
Oh,
Bossy, all the
God,
time.
yeah.
Like, but how do you reflect on? We've spoken about this a bit about, do you are the ones that really sting harsher than, like, the more memorable than the ones that really surprised or gave you an enormous amount of joy and satisfaction? Like, do you sit here and think more about that morning with Zaaki than actually winning a big race? With Sunshine in Paris, for instance, on the Cup Carnival last year with J-Max ride.
I think purely just because it's the Cox Plate,
Yeah.
you think about it. If it was the Mackay Diva Stakes, as we were saying before, like there's so many Group 1s now, but there should be some that are like gold tier Group 1s, which are your Cox Plates, your Melbourne Cups, your grand final races. So that does sting, but I don't sit there and dwell on it too much.
Too busy to.
And I have to keep reminding myself, I'd been training for 14 months, and I had the favourite in the Cox Plate. Like, I had to pinch myself in the position I was even in, and how lucky I was to even have a horse like him. But you've got to remember the good days, because there's more bad days than good days.
Guess what Glen's doing right now then?
Talking about good days, Annabelle.
3 of them.
Talking about good days. I had 3 of those.
That just triggered him when you brought up the Mackay Diva Stakes again. You just said the
He
2
just
words
said it.
Mackay Diva. Then it reminded
This is what
him,
we do on the show.
this is our tradition.
We have a little cheers.
And you check
Mackay-
which one you get.
I've seen the... No, I don't know.
I
Cheers, mate.
I think I got 03. I can't read it, actually.
I seen the girl on the weekend.
What year am I? 2000. I was 14.
Oh, thanks. Okay. Well done.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks, Annabelle. Yeah.
Cheers.
I was only 8 when I won the first one.
What year you got? 05?
04.
04. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was,
No.
Would you believe I was only 8 years old when I won my first?
That's an incredible effort to be in grade 3 at school and ride your first Melbourne Cup winner.
See, what a star.
Awesome.
I seen the girl on the weekend. She's so good. Bloody beautiful.
I saw a photo of that actually, snuggling into her.
Yeah, you get very emotional because
Is she a nice character?
you can have her for about 5 minutes and then she goes, piss off. You know what I mean?
Like
I've had my time. Yeah. But it's nice to get that little 5 minutes where you can cuddle and she comes into you a bit.
We're going to go visit her, Bossy.
Here we are.
We're going to go visit her.
Do one.
I go down. I go and see her at least twice a year. I do because it's.
Yeah.
You just go and see her in her environment.
That's going to happen
It's
on
always-
Who's the Boss. So we're
It's
gonna
always it's nice to go and see her.
Is that the one you want, or is there a race in particular that you want? I mean, an Everest would be
I
nice,
think we
I guess.
all want
with
that.
Yeah.
I think then you can get a car sponsorship. You can't seem to get car sponsorships unless you win a Melbourne Cup.
Well,
But that's not-
Ulterior motive.
well, the thing
Get the
happens.
Canterbury in style.
The thing does happen though when you win one of these, it does change your life.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the one race. It's just
Yeah.
that or a Cox Plate are the one things that change your life.
Yeah.
How quickly did you appreciate that when you got to Australia? Because, UK racing, it's got its big classics and it's got its fun carnivals, it's got its Cheltenham, it's got its Royal Ascot. But that iconic moment a year, Grand National maybe, but how quickly did you learn that this was something out of the box.
Well, I knew it was. I mean, I knew it was bit. I sort of had the idea that it was a bit like the version of England's Ancient Grand National.
Yep.
But actually, when I got here, I think it's bigger. Like, absolutely everybody talks about it, and people that know nothing about horses, nothing about racing, they'll know about the Melbourne Cup. I don't think there's any person that is in Australia that doesn't know about the Melbourne Cup.
No, everyone does.
They know what it is. They might not know how far the race is, or
No.
the details, but they know it's a significant race on a Tuesday in November.
And just a great excuse to go and be social on
Yeah.
a Tuesday afternoon. I mean, who
Correct.
doesn't want to do that?
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to do that? By the way, we're at the Inglis Hotel at Warwick
Yeah.
Farm, which is a fantastic establishment. I mean, you see it every day of your life pretty much because you train out here. But it's a great establishment because it's right on the back of Warwick Farm Racecourse in Sydney's southwest. Beautiful hotel. And then we've got the sale yards and the hive of activity a few times a year, notably at the Easter Yearling sale. So thank you to the crew at Inglis for hosting us, for Who's the Boss. And what do you like when it comes to sales time and what that part of training
Busy.
and the part of your business is like? Because it is a business as much as it's, you're looking after horses and you love horses. You're running an operation here and you're trying to be successful.
Yeah, well, it's different. When we go to the Magic Millions, it's like a working holiday. I mean, it's actually, there's so many horses to look at now, there's probably not much holiday vibe to it, but you're on the Gold Coast, it feels like a bit of a working holiday, whereas when the sales are here, I live 500 metres down the road, the horses are here, and it's actually a lot more convenient. I don't get the holiday vibes.
No, I bet.
But it means I can do track work in the morning and then come and do all day at the sales. But it's a fantastic facility, and for us, it's great. We bring owners out here to the restaurant or come for a coffee. And it's of all the sales complex I've been to, which are only England and Australia, but this is amazing.
What about the growth of the stable? You're in Brisbane or the Gold Coast? The Gold Coast stable?
Eagle Farm.
Eagle Farm, sorry,
Yep.
and Melbourne.
Yeah.
And
Eagle Farm and Flemington.
Yep.
So there's sort of
So
satellite
three
yards.
barns.
And then Sydney, and we've also got Scone.
Oh, that's right. That's another big one.
Yeah. So we've actually split. We're actually sort of split between numbers-wise. We're equal Scone and Warwick Farm. Just wanted to decrease our numbers here a little bit, just to get them all into one spot because I was fairly spread. And all the horses are spelling up on Rob and his brother have got a spelling farm up there, so it works well. They go from the paddock, get a lot of their work done up in Scone, and then they're coming down here ready to go or ready to trial. Means you need less boxes, and then those horses that maybe are better suited to a quieter environment can be trained up there, or if they're more looking at racing in that jurisdiction, if they're not quite metro level, gives the owners the overheads are less up there, so it gives the owners an option to have a horse at slightly lesser cost as well.
Yeah. Well, you take them where they can win. That's it.
Yeah.
It's all about winning, isn't
Yeah,
it?
100%.
So, did you ever think 4 or 5 years ago that you'd be training out of 4 centres? It's amazing.
No.
Kieran Marlock.
Well, it was a bit,
But at least you've got that opportunity to have horses in like different environments. Like you'll look at this one needs to be in Scone. It's not doing well here, so you can hunt it up to Scone. You can get the best out of them. That must be such a good tool.
Yeah, and you've got to have good people in each place, because there's no denying I'm not in 4 places every day, but I think for me it's more important that the horse is in the right location than in the wrong location.
Yes.
Just so I can see it every day. But it does mean I'm on the road a lot. That's the downside. If I could have a helicopter.
Yep.
You'll get there one day.
Got to win a couple of those, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's
Yep.
Could you
doable.
afford one of those after winning that?
I got a helicopter license. After doing that.
Maybe he was my pilot.
I did go and do that. That's something you didn't know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
But that's the only negative, probably, is that you're just on the road all the time. But we've got great staff running each location, and the horses can move around. We might bring them down; they don't settle here, so we send them back up, vice versa. It's been great having Flemington. It's just easy, we fly down there, fly down on the Friday night, do track work Saturday, race Saturday.
Yeah.
Home back here by Saturday
What
night.
about
It's just convenient.
probably the greatest asset that's just come on board in your stable recently, Rob?
the better half.
He'll tell you.
No, you're the better half.
I had a beer with him the other day at the airport. He's your best asset.
Yeah, he's no. It has, to be fair, it's been great having him on board. Divide and conquer, I suppose, as you say, with the 4 locations.
Yeah.
We're like passing ships in the night most of the time. Don't see him.
He's an amazing guy. He's a super guy.
And he's come from a completely different background. He's come from a polo background. But I think if you know horses, you know horses. And he's a really good horseman. Grew up on a farm. And yeah, he loves it. And you have to, I suppose. But yeah, it's been a lot easier, I think, having the 2 of us on board. And
You agree all the time?
no, but maybe it works because he just, I think he just walks away. Just goes, yeah, whatever
boy.
you think.
He's a smart man.
He's a smart
Yeah.
man.
He's the most intelligent man I think I've ever heard of. Wish I had his traits.
We have a few disagreements, but
He's got an
naturally-
amazing demeanour, though, hasn't he?
Yeah,
he's
just very
calm.
relaxed. He's
and-
probably the total opposite to me, which is
Yeah.
maybe why it works.
There you go. Well, now we're going to get into our most important part of the podcast, and that's Bossy's Best. And we're going to
Bossy's
get
best.
a little tip from Annabel or two for the weekend ahead. Bossy's Best. So we've got some really good racing this weekend. So we've got the Rupert Clark Stakes, we've got the Underwood Stakes in Melbourne, and we have the shorts with a couple of Everest contenders. And Annabel, you got some in at Randwick as well, and Flemington. No, Caulfield, I should say.
Yeah,
I've
Caulfield,
got
yeah.
Port Lockroy in the Rupert Clark.
Yes. Well, we'll start with that race then. His chances.
Well, he's drawn 3. Jai McNeil, 54.5. He's only had 2 runs going left-handed, the first of which he won the Group 1 Railway in Perth. I don't know why it's taken me so long to send him back that way. But
Logistically, it is a challenge. It's not like sending him up to Scone.
yeah,
so.
true. But yeah, I think, look, he's got a low draw. It's a good race. He's now a Group 1 winner, so anywhere he goes now is hard from a ratings point of view, because he's won a Group 1 in Perth, and he's carrying the same as,
Yep.
he's treated like a Group 1 in these weight for age races. So we've gone back to handicap level, handicap with him this weekend, and yeah, I think from a low draw he can really improve second up.
So, Bossy, Sir Rupert Clark Stakes over 1,400
Yeah.
metres at Caulfield. There is a little watch on this one because Angel Capital is in for Chris Waller. However, drawn wide,
Yeah.
there's a possibility of that horse not running in that race. But which way have you gone? How have you deciphered it?
I'm going with the draws because it's such a tricky start there. Arkansas Kid, Blake Shin from Barrier 1. It's been so consistent. Won the Bobby Lewis. Yeah, Angel Capital, I wouldn't be running. Second up, bad draw. Where's he going to get? He's just going to have to go back and obviously maybe ride for luck if that happens. But I'm with Arkansas Kid.
Yeah, fair enough. Group 1 Underwood Stakes, Bossy at Caulfield. A lot of very good racehorses have won this race. It's a very good guide to the bigger things ahead. Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup, Cox Plate, etc. Sir Delius, $2.50 favourite as we sit here. You going that way for Gay or something else?
No, he deserves to be favourite. Like his record's outstanding. 8 starts, 4 wins and 2 seconds and a third. So you know what you're going to get with him, and especially with Gay. The fit, don't worry about him. He'll be very hard to beat. But I'm with Buckaroo. I know he's a 7-year-old Fastnet Rock, but if they're sound, that's their sweet spot. 5, 6, 7. If they're still very sound, and his first up run in the Memsies when he ran home and run third, in probably will be one of the form races at the start of the season. Was unbelievable. So I know he's let people down in the past, but he's been given some bad rides too in a couple of Melbourne Cups. He's a proper horse, so I'm tipping him to win. And I said to a few good jocks the other day, I said, keep your eye on him because I think he's got 55 in this year's Melbourne Cup, or 55.5. He's a proper horse.
There you go. Annabelle, is there any ones in this race that it's like, oh, wouldn't mind that in my yard?
Sedelius.
Yeah.
He looks very exciting. But I agree with Bossy. I mean, Waller knows how to set these horses for these races, and he was maybe a bit disappointing last prep. But on his day, he's better than anything, really, isn't he?
He is.
I mean, he's unbelievable, and it's funny when you, as a trainer, when you don't have horses in the races. I don't have time to
You don't care.
I don't. Well, I'm not saying I don't care. I haven't sat down and looked at the Underwood field. I have to
Fair
admit, but I did spot Buckaroos run
behind Treasure at the moment.
behind Treasure at the moment, and I thought
Mr.
he's
B.
back. He looks good.
Yeah.
He's always a horse when you're in a race against him, you're fearful of him because he's a good horse.
Let's get to Sydney,
Yeah.
the Shorts, which is a hot race
Yeah,
because
this
you've got
is great.
3 big contenders for the Everest going around. You've got some other very good sprinters over 1,100 metres. Have you got something for us, Bossy?
I'm really taken by this Barriasa. I watched his trial the other day, and I spoke to Tyler Schiller about him at length only 4 or 5 days ago, and he just thinks he's such a more mature horse now. You know, when you go back to that TJ win, he was outstanding. So on his day, he's a very proper horse. But I don't know, there was just something about his trial. He looked very calm. He just looked like he was going through his gears properly. He's got great stats first up and second up. So if he's on the ball, he's going to be hard to beat. But geez, he's got some opposition. You know, Private Harry, unbeaten at this point. Where's the ceiling? You know, how far does this horse go? And obviously Jolie Star, you know, absolute superstar. So this is going to be a really good spectacle, this race, and it's going to shape the market for the Everest going forward. It's going to start shaping the market. So at the stage we've got a very short price favourite, Kaying Rising, but these horses will put their hand up.
On the Everest, Kaying Rising is odds-on favourite at the moment, Annabel. I mean, is that fair?
I think right now today probably just until we've got all, because I don't think we're going to see him run again, are we? Is he going straight there?
Straight there.
So, but there's a lot to play out between now and then. Look, he probably is the deserved favourite. This is going to be a much stronger race, I assume. I haven't delved into his form.
Well, it's just picket fence.
Yeah,
But it's picket fence, and the way he won with 61 the other day,
Yeah.
he just looks amazing. But he's obviously got to come over here. He's got to travel well. It's not easy travelling horses. He's got to go through the quarantine process and what have you. But obviously he's with a stable that have travelled horses for years and know what they're doing. So he's in the right camp for doing that, and yeah, they know how to set one for a big race. So if you're hearing Zach Purton saying it's the best horse he's sat on, and David Hayes saying the best horse he's ever trained, they've sat on good horses and trained good horses, and if he's the best of them, then yeah, he's obviously going to be taken very seriously.
And for you, on Saturday, you got a good hand in the T-Rose, which is a handy race for 3-year-old fillies. You've got 3 horses, but for 3 different owners. So good luck with those discussions and keeping everyone happy all at once in the mounting yard before and after. But how can you split those ones if I'm going to ask that unfair question? Or is there something else that jumps out for you forthcoming on the weekend?
Oh, well, look, the market, I think Tupacara's favourite, probably because she's drawn better than Michael Friedman's filly. Put the blinkers on her. J-Mac came and galloped her on Tuesday. We wanted to try the blinkers, and he felt we should put them on. She was just off the bridle the other day. She came from well back and ran home well, but we know she gets a mile. She was not beaten far in the Champagne. So hopefully the addition of blinkers will help the race. We want to win this race and the next race, but the race we're trying to actually really peak for is the mile, which is the Group 1. But she's got a good gate. She's got J-Mac on. She's got first-time blinkers. There's probably a lot going for her, but I wouldn't discount the other fillies either. Kajanga was first up the other day. She ran 4th. She probably just got a stitch the last 50. She was first up off one trial, so she'll improve, and she looks magnificent. She probably looks the best of the 3 of them in her coat, and she's all dappled up. She's got a good draw, and Next Gen is another filly. She's drawn the paint, which is going to help, and she was really good. First up, she just kept running into backsides, but wouldn't surprise me if she won either.
Fair enough. Got to mention our friends, Bossy,
Yes,
at
our best friends.
IPE Events. Check them out online, ipevents.com.au. The crew at IPE look after some big events around the country. We've had a great 2025 Lions Tour, State of Origin. They've got the
Everest.
Flemington Carnival around the country, around the corner, and the Everest. They're doing the
is
Everest.
coming up in the 4 days over the spring, and at Flemington it's always a huge party. And if you haven't got tickets, get on the website, and if you're not sold out, get on the job, and you'll be treated with some great food, great company, and I'll be there. So
yeah. And Annabel, if you've got a break in the day, like at Flemington on one of the 4 days, I'm going to invite you on their behalf to go in there and sample some of that food and drink and things like that. If you've got a 4-race break or something like that, you don't have to saddle one up. There you go.
Perfect. Sounds good to me.
Well, Annabel, Bossy.
Yep.
Thank you for that. And thank you, Annabel, for telling us your story, what's going on in racing at the moment. We wish you every success for the forthcoming carnival.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Annabel. Thanks for coming. It's been a real pleasure.
I'm going to go get you a lamb sip.
Oh, yeah, I'm struggling at the moment, aren't I?
Bit of a head cold.
Yeah, I've got a head cold.
Can you also let us know when that one's running next, the one that nearly got there at Canterbury? I think it's...
I'll let,
Yeah.
It'll be winning next start.
Yeah. There you go. Who's the boss? A tip for the future.